Alexander Graham once said, "Concentrate all your thoughts on the task at hand. The sun's rays do not burn until brought to a focus." Between where you are today and any goal or objective that you want to accomplish, there is one major constraint that must be overcome or alleviated before you can achieve that major goal. Your job is to identify this constraint clearly. The question is, what is holding you back from accomplishing your most important task? What sets the speed at which you achieve your goals? What determines how fast you move from where you are to where you want to go? What stops you or holds you back from eating the frogs that can really make a difference? Why aren't you at your goal already? These are some of the most important questions you will ever ask and answer on your way to achieving high levels of personal productivity and effectiveness. Whatever you have to do, there's always a limiting factor that determines how quickly and how well you get it done. Your job is to study the task and identify the limiting factor or constraint within it. You must then focus all of your energies on alleviating that single choke point. Identify the limiting factor. In virtually every task, large and small, a single factor sets the speed at which you achieve the goal or complete the job. What is it? Concentrate your mental energies on that one key area. This can be the most productive use of your time and talents. This constraint may be a person whose help or decision you need, a resource that you require, a weakness in some part of the organization, or something else. But the limiting factor is always there, and it is always your job to find it. For example, the purpose of a business is to create and keep customers. By doing this in sufficient quantities, the company makes a profit and continues to grow and flourish. Every business has a limiting factor or choke point that determines how quickly and how well the company achieves this purpose. It may be the marketing, the level of sales, or the sales force itself. It may be the cost of operation or the methods of production. It may be the level of cash flow or costs. The success of the company may be determined by the competition, or the customers, or the current marketplace. One of these factors, more than anything else, determines how quickly the company achieves its goals of growth and profitability. What is it? The accurate identification of the limiting factor in any process and the focus on that factor can usually bring about more progress in a shorter period than any other single activity. The 80-20 rule applied to constraints. The 80-20 rule also applies to the constraints in your life and in your work. This means that 80% of the constraints, the factors that are holding you back from achieving your goals, are internal. They are within yourself, within your own personal qualities, abilities, habits, disciplines, or competencies. Or they are contained within your own company or organization. Only 20% of the limiting factors are external to you or your organization. Only 20% are on the outside in the form of competition, markets, governments, or other organizations. Your key constraint can be something small and not particularly obvious. Sometimes you have to make a list of every step in a process and examine every activity to determine exactly what is holding you back. Sometimes a single negative perception or objection on the part of customers can be slowing down the entire sales process. Sometimes the absence of a single feature can be holding back the growth of sales of a product or service line. Look into your company honestly. Look within your boss, your co-workers, and members of your staff to see if there's a key weakness that is holding you or the company back, acting as a brake on the achievement of your key goals. Successful people always begin the analysis of constraints by asking the question, what is it in me that is holding me back? They accept complete responsibility for their lives and look to themselves for both the cause and cure of their problems. In your own life, you must have the honesty to look deeply into yourself for the limiting factor or limiting skill that sets the speed at which you achieve your own personal goals. Keep asking, what sets the speed at which I get the results I want? The definition of the constraint determines the strategy that you use to alleviate it. The failure to identify the correct constraint or the identification of the wrong constraint can lead you off in the wrong direction. You can end up solving the wrong problem. A major corporation, multi-billion-dollar client of mine, was experiencing declining sales. The corporation's leaders concluded that the major constraint was the quality of the sales force and the sales management. They therefore spent an enormous amount of time reorganizing the management and retraining the salespeople. They later did some research and they found out that the primary reason that sales were down was a mistake made by an accountant who had accidentally priced their products too high relative to their competition in the marketplace. Once the corporation revamped its pricing, its sales went back up and they returned to profitability. Behind every constraint or choke point, once it is located and alleviated successfully, you will find another constraint or limiting factor. Whether you're trying to get to work on time in the morning or build a successful career, there are always limiting factors and bottlenecks that sets the speed of your progress. Your job is to find them and focus your energies on alleviating them as quickly as possible. Starting off your day with the removal of a key bottleneck or constraint fills you full of energy and personal power. It propels you into following through and completing the job. And there's always something. Often alleviating a key constraint or limiting factor is the most important frog you could eat at that moment. So here are 2 exercises for you. Number 1, identify your most important goal in life today. What is it? What one goal, if you achieved it, would have the greatest positive impact on your life? What one career accomplishment would have the greatest positive impact on your work life? Number 2, determine the one constraint, internal or external, that sets the speed at which you accomplish this goal. Ask yourself, why haven't I reached this goal already? What is it in me that is holding me back? Whatever your answers, take action immediately. Do something. Do anything but get started. And now let's move on to the next part.